Welcome back to Dungeons & Dagon's Tomb of Annihilation campaign. We return with our heroes just having had a long rest after completing the first level of the Tomb of the Nine Gods, the Rotten Halls. Safely perched on a cliff overlooking a waterfall pouring down a shaft into a subterranean ocean, our heroes have managed to recover from the horrors they have faced and have slept well, save for the constant nightmares reminding them of what is to come and the occasional rumbles of something terrible down below in the subterranean ocean, something that eventually they will have no choice but to confront. Our heroes decide it is time to move on to the next level of the dungeon, and so, eschewing the main stairwell down to level 2, they decide to take the secret staircase discovered by Zinhorn, leading down to the staff-only area of the dungeon. Hearing chattering voices at the bottom of the narrow stairwell, talking about, "It's time we've reset all the traps, but they've already got 3 of the trap gods. Calm yourselves down, men. It's time for a break." Our heroes creep down to face what is below, and stepping into the darkness, find themselves face to face with 6 tomb dwarves. Tomb dwarves who were once obviously mortal men, now warped into husks of their former selves, changed beyond recognition with emaciated, rotting faces, dressed in patchwork, rusted metal armor, and adorned with helmets in the shape of laughing bearded devils. As our heroes ready themselves to fight back, one of the tomb dwarves makes his way to an iron maiden wedged at the very back of the tomb dwarves' break room. He reaches up and pulls the lever. With a shudder, the contraption opens. A great mist fills the room, and out steps the first tomb guardian faced by the party. A flesh golem adorned in rusted metal armor topped with nasty foot-long spikes. And as they stare at this monstrosity, it begins to lurch towards them. Let us jump into the battle.
Jesus.
Okay. You are in the Dungeon of Deception, and it has already deceived us by stealing the sound.
Damn it.
But you are trapped in battle with the Tomb Dwarves and the Tomb Guardian. Alessander has just flung a firebolt at it, noticing that it is weak to fire. Go ahead, roll your damage.
Okay, I rolled...
Thanks to Kay for letting me know about the sound.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kay.
Eventually we're going to get this right, though if you'd like to help speed up this process, please feel free to donate to us. For the love of God, help us now. That's getting 16 points of fire damage, and that's within, you said it takes double from fire?
It does take double from fire damage.
32 points of fire damage.
Oh,
I finally get to use my awesome scythe cantrip, and it's already immediately been...
The Tomb Guardian looks like it's barely holding together as the flames tear at its putrid flesh and patchwork armor as the Tomb Dwarves stare around, looking at it with sheer terror on their emaciated faces.
I'd also like to
glaring,
say, obviously, sorry.
glaring in anger under their laughing devil masks.
Okay, I also like to point out that Armor of Agathis is obviously gone now due
Yes,
to the fact that
it did waste your 20.
25 HP in one go.
Yep, okay. So, it is now Sir Lucian's turn.
Mr. Lucian?
So Lucian there, he's muted.
I have a feeling I know what he'll do. I have a feeling...
Oh,
there we
okay.
go.
Sorry,
Yep.
I thought I was not muted.
Yep.
Alright. Wacky Stick, Tomb Guardian.
Yep, go ahead.
That is definitely a hit.
Definitely a hit. Roll your damage.
Yep. These are my definitely hit dice. 19 points of damage there.
19 points of damage. You swing your sword at the Tomb Guardian, caving in the rusty helmet that he wears on his head, and he drops to the floor like a sack of coal. You still have another attack left. Want to finish off Tomb Dwarf 3?
Please do.
Did this have a flow-on effect and scare the other two dwarves?
No, it doesn't, unfortunately. But Tomb Dwarf 3 is incapacitated from Onyx's hypnotic pattern.
Great.
So go ahead, you may roll with advantage to hit him.
Oh, beautiful. Let's publicly execute them in front of all his friends.
Why
Seven.
Okay.
What's that
not? 7
DC?
plus 11. That's 7 plus 11, so that's 18.
Yeah, that's a hit. Roll your damage.
Yeah, that's I was just asking what the DC is. Alright, okay, that is... It's 17 points of damage there.
17 points of damage, and whoosh, you lop off his head. It falls to the ground, and then the dwarf and his body disintegrate into dust. The other two dwarves exchange
calm down,
worried
guys?
glances, and one of them says, God damn it, this is not the break time we deserved."
Yes.
Another Scottish Toon Dwarf.
It is...
Oh, good. Oh, man, I feel so sorry for these guys. We basically just rocked up in the middle of their fucking lunch break and beat the shit out of them.
Yep, it is Zinhorn's turn.
And executed their boss.
So 1 and 2 are still charmed.
Yep.
So Zinhorn is going to fire a frostbite at number... which one's that? Number 5.
Number 5, okay. Go ahead, roll to hit him.
It's
Oh, wait,
a con
no,
save.
he makes a con save, that's right. Let's see, that is a 21.
Okay, he still gets he doesn't get disadvantage, but that is 9 points of cold damage.
9 points of cold damage, nice. Okay, it is the Tomb Dwarf's turn. Tomb Dwarf 5 runs towards Alisander. He's going to make a wisdom save because he is undead.
Oh, how lovely.
That is a 14. That is not a pass. So instead, he rushes past Alisander, drawing an attack of... Wait, no, he's still in her zone of influence, and then makes a life drain attack on Onyx.
Okie dokie.
So the first one is a 16, and the second one is a 20. Not nat.
So the 20 hits.
Okay, so Onyx takes 5 points of necrotic damage and needs to make a con save, please.
Yay! One thing I'm good at. Watch me roll shit. I really gotta learn to shut up. It's a 13.
13. Okay, that is a fail. Your max HP is decreased by 5 until your next long rest.
By 5 from my max?
From your max, yes.
Okay, cool.
Damn.
Tomb Dwarf 4 raises his crossbow. He fires his first shot at Zinhorn. That is a 21. He hits Zinhorn for 7 points of piercing damage. And then his second one he fires at Onyx, and that is only a 9. The bolt just bounces off Onyx's flesh. It is now Onyx's turn.
They cannot attack me, I believe. They can't attack me. Okay,
No,
I'm
they
going
can't.
to run up to 5, 10. Oh wait, 5.
Yeah, 5 is there. He's
Is-
not charmed.
Oh, he's not. Oh, well, fuck him. I'm gonna whack him then.
Go ahead.
That is a nat 20, baby.
Ooh, go ahead.
Damn.
Whack away.
Double your damage.
Fucking minimal damage as well.
Okay.
10 damage altogether.
New rule, on a nat 20, if you roll minimal damage, roll again.
Oh,
Oh, wow, you just.
Alright, well, better than nothing.
That's 6, so that's 12
Yep.
damage.
Yep, 12 damage, he's still up.
He's still up. Wait, what's my roar? Is my roar a bonus action or an action? Draconic War as a bonus action. Roar your enemies within 10 feet of you. I'm gonna roar at this Tomb Dwarf 5.
Alright, he's gonna make his save.
But you know, it's just everyone has advantage on attack rolls against him.
Oh, yep, very well. Alright. It is
There's no
Ava's
saying
turn.
associated. She is going to fly up again and just. Gonna whack him, even though she would have had advantage anyway. But whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a 15 plus 10, so 25.
Yep, roll your damage.
His favored foe as many
It's-
times as I want.
It's
Or-
proficiency, equal to proficiency bonus.
Okay,
Long
she
rest.
has a plus 4. You know what? She's actually going to save it because we don't know what else is in here. So it's just physical damage is 6 plus 6. So that's 12 damage.
The Tomb Dwarf rides on the end of her blade and then disintegrates into dust.
Okay, cool. So the psychic damage doesn't matter. I don't even know if they can take psychic, but whatever.
They can, but it didn't matter in his case.
Yeah, didn't matter. Anyway, she has moved 5, 10, 15 feet. She has 50 feet flying. She's going to fly 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. She's going to fly this way up
Yep,
to
to
Tomb
Tomb
Dwarf
Dwarf
4. And going to use her bonus action
Yep, to hit him.
to hit him with the flame sword, which is a nat 20.
Yep, okay. Roll
Gotta
that,
love that
double
advantage.
it. Roll that, double it, and double the flame damage as well, because they are weak to fire.
Okay.
Whoa.
So D6. Okay, so that's max damage, which is much better. So that's 22 physical,
And
and the fire. Does the fire get doubled and then doubled because of the? Or is it just one
it doesn't.
double?
It just one double. It's additional
Okay.
damage that
So
quick didn't do
6.
anything.
Yep. So 6 flame damage.
It's okay. The cinder of flame surges throughout his body, and he screams, "Ah, Moradin, save me!" as he disintegrates. And then the other 2 dwarves, unable to act, exchange worried glances and let out a deafening scream as they too disintegrate into dust and plumes of smoke.
I
Combat
have
is
a
over.
question.
Yep.
Do their helmets disintegrate with them?
Yes. Their
Ah,
armor
okay.
and body
Okay.
disintegrate.
Okay.
Is the flash going?
Same go for the Tomb Guardian.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
What
is
is
he
he
still
doing?
here?
The tomb Guardian, however, he is still intact, lying there. So
I need.
Everyone take the bucket.
You can tell you
Use
want
it
the
as
bucket.
meme worthy.
You can take the bucket. I'm more interested in what's left. I wish to investigate this boy.
yeah,
Also, Al, very much hurt from that fight. This sucks.
Didn't one-
It already sucks.
you walk up to the Vanquished Tomb Guardian. Go ahead and please make an investigation check to examine it.
And there's my net 20 for the day. This bodes
Oh.
well.
Okay.
Well, at least the traps hopefully won't get reset now.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is
Maybe.
that. You have taken out you have taken out the maintenance team, and so the traps will no longer reset every 12 hours. So
Every 12 hours. Fuck.
you examine the Tomb Guardian, and you've come to a disconcerting realization. It appears that adventurers who have perished inside the tomb are stitched together by the tomb dwarves and then bolted into suits of piecemeal, rusty plate armor. Once complete, these shambling golems are released into the tomb to hunt intruders. The Tomb Guardian appears at its most basic form to be a normal flesh golem clad in sharp, nasty-looking spiked plate armor. Aside from that, it does not appear to have any particularly special secret to its construction.
Yeah, well, either way, I love how you say disconcerting when Alisandra's the one who's investigating it, so she's probably like, interesting.
That said, you do notice how the armor is attached. Rather than being inserted into the armor whole, or having the armor put together piece by piece, it appears that it is the function of the Iron Maiden-like construction in this very room. It is that device that is used to press the armor onto the flesh golem, moulding the rusted metal around the irregularities of its body shape, given that it is pieced together from limbs that have been removed from different adventurers.
Next question, can I investigate the Iron Maiden?
You can. So, old wooden benches and shelves along the wall of this chamber are covered with gears, chains, trap components, and cages filled with squeaking rats. Unlit iron braziers hang by chains from the ceiling. Along the north wall, a stepped dais is set with a bulky contraption of the Iron Maiden, attached to a network of steaming pistons, tubes, and bubbling vats of blood. You have officially entered level 2 of the dungeon. The Dungeon of Deception, and on this level, a stench of mildew and rot pervades strongly in the air. Alessander, please make another investigate check.
Imagine Alisandra's just watching this, and all she can hear inside her head is Robert going, I miss my basement. Can we do this when we get back? 16.
16. You notice that the inside of the Iron Maiden, even though it is covered in spikes, does not appear to be used for torture. Rather, the spikes serve as injectors for the blood and other arcane fluids that are being pumped through the pipes into the device. It appears an inactive flesh golem is placed into this machine. The machine is shut, trapping the golem inside, and the spikes pump the fluids necessary to animate it into the flesh golem's body, while the tight confines of the Iron Maiden forcefully mould the piecemeal plate armor over its form.
So, it's a flesh golem that can be created without the necessary magic required, instead using these fluids instead.
You could try to examine some of the fluids if you want to try to capture some.
If people are willing to let me indulge in this.
Would we like to let Alessander examine suspicious fluids in the machine that makes armored flesh golems?
Yeah, Vinhorn's just over there with these vines who've still got the weapons.
Yep, the battle axes that you picked up.
And, yeah, he wants to talk to them and go, you guys ever swung weapons before?
Oh, well, we're vines, ain't we, Gov? Actually, forget what he says. I'm willing to give it a try. Oh, well, if he's gonna try it, then I'm not gonna let him, Mr. Stick Up his nether regions, take all the glory. I want to swing it too.
Okay,
Go over to the table. Are there any bowls or anything on the table that's breakable? Or...
Oh yeah, there's cages, clay bowls.
Yeah. So Vinhorn's gonna go over to the table, hold the vines out, to him and tell him, go for it.
I just want to say right now that you are acting out Bulb's wet dream.
The vines slither. Your vines slither around the hilts of the battle axes, and they raise them in the air and they swing, and their effort is quite clumsy. It takes at least 4 separate attempts for each of them to strike a bowl, but they manage to get the hang of it. And now you have the ability, as a bonus action in combat, to have one of your vines make an attack, and this attack will be done using just your proficiency bonus as its modifier, no stat modifier.
That's
Okay,
a
D20.
So just a D20 plus the 4
Plus your
four
proficiency, and that's it. Yes.
Okay.
That's still awesome, though.
Was there a one that had picked it up a little bit better?
No, they both seem to be equally clumsy at
I was
it.
going to say, you could probably use them both at the same time.
Yeah.
There's still, like, 2 of them holding one weapon.
You could do that.
I was going to say, have one of them keep hold of that and have the other one used for, like, clinging and grabbing and moving. And...
Very well. If you do have both of them grab hold of the weapon, though, it will count as a two-handed attack, and battle axes are versatile, so...
So yes, I'm going to just have one battle axe.
Yep,
And
and
so
the other
one's going to
one's
keep a hold of it, and the other one's going to be used if I need to sort of, like, maneuver.
Maybe I'll leave the fighting stuff to you and deal with climbing, eh? Says one of your vines, and the other just says, "Oh, I'm happy with that arrangement."
Poor Bob.
He'll love
He's
this.
looking at him.
Alessander, I hope you got a hold in that bag, because currently Bulb is turning it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Zinhorn's head, Oberlarker is just murmuring and saying, "Oh, I can see a number of ways this can go wrong."
Meanwhile, Alicendra's
Oh my
already
God.
17 on her investigation of the
Yep.
arcane fluids.
Actually, it was an Arcana check, but you would have passed it.
Arcana! Oh,
Yeah.
in that case, that's a 23.
Yep. So you extract some of the blood-like fluid and some of the glowing green fluid from 2 of the spikes, and they aren't dangerous to touch. You let them drip down onto the palm of your hand, and they pool on your skin, and you examine them, take them away from the Iron Maiden, sit down in the corner, and perform some magical experiments on you while Bobbit looks on in your head, and Moa just says, good idea, though I suspect it's going to be made of nothing more than death and misery. And it turns out Moa is mostly correct. These fluids, you're not entirely sure of their magic composition, but they do contain a strong element of necrotic magic and dark energy, and there are elements of particularly the blood-like substance that give you a lot of misgivings, considering there are a lot of common elements between this fluid and how one would construct a phylactery.
Oh. Well, I'm going to keep a hold on to that for further study.
Yep.
Hopefully we can find a little bit more about how these things are constructed further on, because I'm guessing there's going to be more than one of these damn things down here.
Of course. You have taken the quote-unquote safe way down into level 2, the Dungeon of Deception, so is there anything else you would like to check in this room?
Well, I believe the others can do that while I've been sitting on the floor, poking with mysterious death ooze.
Are there any of those helmets that the dwarves are wearing?
Not that you could see.
Damn.
This room is entirely furnished by old rotting shelves and tables that are covered in cogs and clay bowls and cages full of squeaking rats. There doesn't appear to be any indication of where the tomb dwarves actually acquired their equipment from.
And
Fair
they
enough.
turned to dust when we killed them, not like, bodies of skeletons or anything, just straight
No,
dust.
just dust, yeah.
Damn. Well, there goes that idea. well.
There
I
is
just
a
want one of the helmets. It's Guardian Gargoyle from Dark Souls. It's awesome.
there is a iron bar reinforced wooden door to the south of this room. There appears to be no other exit aside from the stairs that you emerged from.
Okay.
Where would you like to go?
Can we check to see if we can open the door?
Yeah, you reach out to the door, and to your surprise, it budges. And as you push it open, you notice on the other side of the door there is a stone placard, and it reads in Common, Dwarven, and Draconian, "Staff only! Keep the F out!"
Why Draconian? Oh. Okay, now I'm worried. Why Draconian? Dale, why Draconian? Okay. Okay, well, can I peek around the door and see what's in the room in front?
The room outside appears to be completely empty, no signs of life. So you push open the door, and the rest of the party joins you as you step through. And on the other side, you find three archways overlook a circular chamber where a spiral staircase descends down into pitch black darkness. The staircase walls are lined with unlit torches in iron sconces and set with niches containing mouldering humanoid skulls and bones. The smell of rot and mildew grows stronger out here.
Oh, that's totally comforting. Okay. Ava, do a perception check to listen to see if she hears anything in the silence.
Yes, go ahead, make a perception check.
I'm gonna have both Onyx and Ava do it.
Yep.
So that is a 15 plus 4 for Ava, so that is a 19 for Ava, and a 20 for Onyx.
Yep, so from the east, you hear nothing but silence. Meanwhile, from the west, you hear what appears to be the very faint sound of shuffling papers.
Shuffling papers?
Yes.
Okay. Onyx will mine for paper and pencil or something and write down that he hears shuffling papers coming from the west.
Yep. And Ava turns to the rest of the party and tells them, backing up what Onyx heard.
Did we hear anything coming from the stairs?
No. The stairs and
Okay.
to the east, nothing but silence.
Can we see where the majority of the bones on the floor are? Are they coming, is there more to the east, more to the west?
There appears to be... Well, they appear to be somewhat evenly distributed, and they continue further down the stairs.
Okay. Okay, well, Onyx is not going to care what happens. He's just going to watch and stay at the back.
Yep. What does everyone else wish to do?
Ava is going to ask what everyone else wants to do. Because silence from the east, shuffling papers from the west. Oh, pardon me. Which might mean books, which might mean information, but someone is shuffling those papers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
And
correct.
also, there is Draconian on the staff door, which just, unless they're low-level kobolds, scares the shit out of me as a player. Ava is all for checking out the west, but obviously...
And
It's
it's like
up
it's just a door or something, is there? Or...
Yeah,
So-
so to Right here, to the west, there is another wooden door similar to the one you approached from, and to the east, you see the back side of what is obviously supposed to be a secret door embedded into the stone. However, you're seeing it from the side that it's not meant to be seen.
Is there anything written on the door?
The door to the west has a stone placard on the door, reading once again in 3 languages: Common, Dwarven, and Draconic. Wither's office.
Whose office, sorry?
Withers.
Withers. Okay. I'm guessing that's M2 back. Okay. We've discovered a staircase descending.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hear anything from the east, but we do see the back of a secret door. And to the west, we hear shuffling papers, and there's another wooden door with a placard on it in 3 different languages saying Wither's office. And we're just debating what to do next.
Perhaps when we mentioned skeletons, did I hear that correctly?
The floor is
the
floor is covered in skeletons.
Well, the floor and the walls are lined with bones and skulls, like decoration inset into the wall.
Okay.
I got my hopes up. Okay.
On one part of the mind, Zinhorn knows we need to find something on this floor before we go on, and then in the other part of his mind there is a little voice saying it's going to be dangerous, we shouldn't go walking in there if we're hearing noises. And
Wongo is just going, see what it is, see what it is.
Wongo is literally just going, some bastard's reading, let's give him a book he'll never forget!
I have a few suggestions, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in boxes at the moment, but I have a few suggestions, books that you'll never forget.
Which box would you like to open?
I believe I kind of got the short end of the spirit stick. One just doesn't really give 2 flying shits what I do.
Yeah.
As long as I'm honest, it doesn't care.
But like I said, Ava is all for checking it out. Onyx is just letting everyone go first.
Yep, so it's entirely up to you guys.
I'm definitely interested in checking it out, though I might need to take a potion before we go any further.
Yes.
That's probably a good idea.
Like, a lot. Even with, Rebecca, this.
So Lucian's just clutching his sword hilt and looking from east to west and nods grimly. He's ready to follow you wherever.
Zinhorn wants to check as well, but he wants to do it cautiously.
You alright?
It's just really worrying that there's Draconic on the doors.
Anyone who needs to drink a potion may do so.
Yeah, I mean,
What do I have anyway?
I drank a normal one, didn't do a whole lot. It's 2d4 plus 2 for just a regular healing, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Not great, but better than nothing.
Yep, so you make your way over to the other door, and as you creep closer, the sound of rustling papers grows louder. You cautiously place your hands on the door and begin to push it open. It creaks as it slides open, and on the other side you find... Candles dimly illuminate a cluttered office. A skeletal songbird rasps at you as you step through the door from a filthy cage in one corner. Other furnishings include a wooden writing desk and a tall backed chair. Anatomical drawings sketched in charcoal hang on the wall behind the desk. Seated in the chair is the shriveled corpse of a humanoid wearing mouldy robes and a bronze mask sculpted to look like a frowning visage. Around the figure's neck hangs a black skull-shaped amulet, and a number of severed hands crawl on the desk and floor around him, rifling through piles of paper and old books. He looks up as you approach, and he says, "Ah, you've wandered into the staff area, I see. Not to bother." He lazily raises a hand. snaps a finger, and then two helmed horrors materialize out of the gloom beside him. Roll for initiative, please.
Well, we knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, I still want to say it anyway. Damn it, Withers!
Okay, Onyx got a 19, Ava got a +5 to that, so that's a 13 for Ava.
24 for Zinhorn.
Yep.
16 for Alessandra.
21 for Sir Lucian. Okay, Zinhorn, you are up first.
I was going to say, as you're in a fight, you can always see Alessandra going, please don't damage the book. Now, I'm guessing there's like tons of paperwork.
Yes, tons of paperwork and books everywhere.
It's just Alessandra's like, please don't destroy all the paperwork.
Can
So
I just ask? I popped it in the Discord that. So it's D20 +4 for the axe.
Yep.
If I use both
The range is up to 30 feet, and you add nothing to the damage roll.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to check that because
Yep.
would normally use the strength or something. So I'll adjust that.
So it's just literally just a D8 or a D10 of damage.
And you said it was a bonus action.
Yes, to do it.
Awesome.
But if you do that, you obviously can't use them to grab or anything, so use your bonus action for that.
Once
Yeah,
again,
yeah, but I got
wet dream.
I've got the 30-foot range, which
Yep.
would be good.
You're weaponizing plants. Sheds a single tear in pride.
So reverse helmed horrors before, didn't we?
Yes, fought some upstairs.
They were weak to fire, I believe.
Very much so.
In that case, Zinhorn is going to do a summon elemental,
Yep.
a fire elemental.
Lovely. Grab
Oh, very nice.
Oh no, all the books.
Let me just get the fire elemental document up. I have so many things. Ah! I have so many things to look through.
Because I am silenced, right, I have 2 tabs open. Owlbear
Yep.
and Hypnotic Pattern.
Yep.
Usually I have like 10 tabs open.
So can Zinhorn wants to have it be summoned behind
Withers, yep.
the Wither and the Helmed Horror?
Yep. So, right here.
So that's his action. As a bonus action, he's going to attempt his new-found swing of his his axe, battle axe.
Yep.
Doing it with getting both of the vines to do it.
Yep, and you're going to swing it at Withers, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Very well.
So
Go ahead, roll to hit Withers.
that is a 13 plus 4.
13
so it's
plus 4,
17.
that is a hit.
Yes, mate. And it's a D10
Yep.
plus nothing. That is an 8. 8 points of damage to the vines, or from the vines.
Ooh, nice. Withers just says, "You come in here into the staff-only area. You disturb me at my work. When I kill you, I'm going to have you all made into tomb guardians to guard my door."
And then he wants to Zinhorn wants to duck in the corner where Ava is, like try and
Yep.
get behind.
Right up next to her, yep.
And then it is the fire elementals go, which
Yep.
that's the fire is going to make a multi-hit attack
Yep.
against the
Helmed Horror.
the helmed horror. Actually, no, the wither.
Yep, go ahead. Go ahead, roll to hit Withers.
And it is a 22 to hit,
22 to hit, you hit him.
and that is 7 points of fire damage.
Ouch! 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 He shouts as the flame elemental swipes and burns portions of his rotting robes away.
Does it ignite with the fire touch?
It does not ignite. He's not weak to fire. He quickly dances up and down, batting the cinders with his hands and putting the flames out.
And then the second multi-attack is going to go to the Helmed Horror.
Yep, go ahead, roll to hit.
And that is a 13.
13. Unfortunately, the Helmed Horror swoops out of the way, and your elemental is unable to hit it. It is the enemy's turn. Withers.
Real quick though.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick a third level spell for Ava, but can Kitty change it? If she comes
Kitty
back?
can change it at any time, yeah.
Cool.
Withers raises a hand lazily, brushing away some of the paperwork on his writing desk, and he casts Wall of Flame. And he casts it right across here. So I would like Ava, Alessander, and Onyx to please make, I believe it's Dex checks, I'm going to double check. Yes, Dex saves, please.
Oh shit. Okay, so Ava got an 18 and Onyx got a 9.
So Onyx fails, Ava passes, Alessander.
Non-nat 20.
Yep, that's Sir Lucian fails, but he's going to use his Indomitable ability to re-roll, and he still fails. So Onyx and Sir Lucian take 24 points of fire damage. Ava and Alessander take 12. And you are pushed. And you were pushed forward in front of the wall into Wither's office. He shrieks and laughs and he says, "Ha ha ha! Now you're on my time!" He places his hand over the amulet around his neck and uses a bonus action to teleport past the wall of flame to the opposite side.
Hey!
Helmed Horror 2 swoops towards Onyx and makes a multi-attack
Yeah.
with its longsword. The first is a 22 and the second is 20.
They both hit then.
Okay, so you take 11 points of slashing damage and then 12 points of slashing damage.
So 23, so that's 50, 55.
The second Helmed Horror zooms towards Ava, getting an attack of opportunity from Zittenhorn's Fire Elemental.
That is a 19 plus 6, I think it was.
That is a hit. Roll your damage and double it, please.
Yay! That is... that is 6. So that is
12. Yep.
12.
Swings at the Helmed Horror and burns some of the markings of the floating armor. It is now Sir Lucian's turn. He's going to swing at Helmed Horror 2. So that is going to be D20 plus 11. That is a 16 on his first. His sword bounces off its armor. And that is a 16 on his second. His sword bounces off its armor again. It is now Ava's turn.
Wait,
no, it's not. Yeah, sorry, it's Sorry, I didn't update the initiative from last battle. It is Alessander's turn.
So, Withers is on the other side of this wall and trying to leave, correct?
He doesn't appear to be leaving, he's just standing there.
Annoying. What to do? I'm guessing he's not going to come back in the room while the wall of flame is up.
That's probably a safe guess to make.
And I'm guessing it's even safer guess that this bastard probably can't be charmed due to...
You could try to charm him, he's not immune to it.
No?
No, he's not immune to it. That you know of, yeah.
What I know of. It's either that or just smash the Helm Horrors and then deal with him.
That's probably a good idea. Withers!
I know, wizard. Yay, wizards. Stupid assholes. I keep trying to have plans in my head so I don't spend 50 minutes trying to decide something.
That's
and then
okay.
you get to this point and it's just like, no, I got nothing. Okay, that's good. I got once per day use of suggestion. I'm going to turn around, look at Withers and going, well, before I cast, I'm going to look and say, your time? No, I believe that you're exactly where we need to be. Thank you for vacating your library, by the way. I'll make good use of it once this is over. And then I'll cast suggestion on him.
Okay.
So, roll the save first and we'll go from there.
Going to make his save, and he has rolled a 19.
Oh, goddamn, I'm about to be very annoyed, aren't I? Where are we?
He just frowns, sad. He just frowns and he says, No, you've clocked in and I'm going to make sure you clock out when I say so.
Well, now I'm just very annoyed. Well, that burns up my use of a turn.
Okay, it is now Ava's turn.
Ava is going to... she's going to just hit this helmed horror.
Yep, go ahead,
I
roll
guess,
to hit it.
'cause she's within striking range. So she's gonna fly 5 feet up so she gets a height advantage.
Yep, that's fair enough.
Yep. That is a 26 for the first
That's a
attack.
hit, roll the damage.
And these do not get psychic damage. I remember that from
Yep, they are immune.
so that is 11 damage.
11, not bad.
Then she's going to offhand attack with the flame scimitar, which is a 24.
That is a hit, roll the damage, double the flame damage.
So the physical damage was 6.
Yep.
And the flame is a d4, so that is 6 flame damage.
Lovely.
And then she's going to whack it again with her extra attack.
Yep,
And that is a 26.
that is a hit, roll your damage.
There it is. That's 3 plus... So that's 9 physical damage.
9 physical damage, lovely.
Yeah, that's her turn.
It is Onyx's turn now.
Onyx's turn. The mute sorcerer. Let's see. I did have a plan and then I forgot because I had to do Ava first. He is going to move here. So
Yep.
staying within the influence, so
Onyx
not getting an attack.
runs right up behind the Helmed Horror, in
Yep,
front
he's
of
going
Wither's
to-
writing desk.
Yeah, he's going to roar. So both the helmed horrors now get advantage when attacked against,
Yep,
because they're both within 10 feet
yep.
of me.
So they get advantage on that.
Yep. And then I'm just going to hit helmed horror too.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's with advantage. That is 26.
That's a hit.
Two-handed is a d10. Fucking, this dice loves the 1. That's 5 damage.
Ooh, yeah. Well, you're gonna need to do better than that.
Yeah, and there was something else I was gonna do. No, actually, I think that was it. Yeah, free action, I'm going to bring my shield out.
Yep, very well. Okay, it is it is Zinhorn's turn.
And with that, I will be right back.
Yep.
Alright, so Zinhorn is going to pull out the Flame Tongue Longsword, use his
Yep.
bonus action to activate it,
Yep. You bark the command word. Flames surge from the blade.
and swing at Helmed Horror 1.
Yep. Go ahead. Roll to hit him.
That is 18 plus 6, so 24.
24. Nice. That is a hit. Roll your damage and double the
It
flame
is
damage.
only one-handed because I've got the...
Yes, you've got your shield.
Got my shield. So that is 8 plus 2 points of slashing plus 3 points of fire.
3 points of fire. Lovely. Yep.
He's going to stay there, and for his fire elemental's turn,
Yep. What's he gonna do?
he wants the fire elemental to come through, like pass through Helmed Horror 1.
Yep. Whoosh to the other
So-
side.
So that, so by going through the thing, the Helmed Horror, takes 1d10 fire damage and
Sure
catches
does.
fire.
It sure does. Go ahead and roll that damage, and you may double it because it's still fire damage.
That is 8 points of damage times 2, so that is 16 points of damage.
Whoosh! As the fire elemental surges through it, Helmed Horror 1 bursts into flames.
And then he's going to keep going through Wither.
Yep. Whoosh! Out into the corridor outside.
And so does he get the 1d10 for going through Wither?
Yes, he does, but it doesn't get doubled because he's not
Yep.
weak to fire.
That is 8 points of fire damage.
Lovely.
Then he's going to use his multi-attack.
Yes, on Withers.
On Withers.
Yep.
So it's a lot of steps. I'm trying to...
No, he's done well for himself.
So that is... The first attack is a 21.
That is a hit. Roll the damage.
Since 2d6 is 6 points of fire damage.
6 points of fire damage. Nice. Next
Second
attack.
multi-attack is a miss.
A miss. Yep.
It was a 4. So does he have enough movement to then move back into Wither's space?
Yes, he does. So you'd like him to move into Wither's space. Share the
Yes.
space with him.
Yeah.
Merge into the wall of fire. There we go. It is now the enemy's turn. Withers, shrieking in pain and anger, raises his hand and casts, let us see, and casts a 5th level blight on Zinhorn. I need Zinhorn to make a con save, please.
Oh dear. We may need to take a rest after this one, whether we like it or not.
That is a 19.
19. That is a pass. You take 19 points of necrotic damage.
Oh, that could have been so much worse.
I
Yep.
have
Yes,
my
okay.
orb.
Yep. So you take 8 points of necrotic damage. Helmed Horror 1 is going to make a multi-attack against Zinhorn. So the first one is a 16, which does not hit, and the second is a 15. The sword clangs off Zinhorn's shield. Helmed Horror 2 is going to make a multi-attack against Onyx. The first one is a 12, the second one is an 8. They both bounce off your rock-hard flesh. It is Sir Lucian's turn.
Sorry,
Yep.
just reading this. So, by being the fire elemental being in Wither's space, it says it catches fire
Yep.
and then takes 1d10 fire damage at the start of each of its turns until
Yes,
it's
it's
doused.
very well. So it's going to take another 1d10. Go ahead and roll.
That is 5 points of fire damage.
5 points. Withers is looking quite severely hurt. It is Sir Lucian's turn. He grabs his javelin and he hurls it through the wall of fire at Withers. And he nat 20s, dealing 12 points to Withers, landing his javelin right between the eyes of the glistening bronze mask. It falls off for a moment, briefly revealing the bare skull underneath before Withers screams and crumbles to dust, leaving his black amulet to land on the floor.
Does the mask fall off, or does it just crumble as well?
Disintegrates as well. Only the amulet gets left behind.
I mean, I'm still checking in.
I love that you say the amulet survives, and 2 of your players go, damn it, the mask didn't.
I like masks.
He then uses his next attack to attack Helm Horror 2. Gonna attack Helm Horror 2, plus 11, that is a 23 to hit. He deals... He deals 12 points of damage to it. It is now Alisander's turn.
So the wall of fire, I'm guessing, is gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. I'm just gonna erase it. Yep. The wall of fire burns away, filling the room with black smoke.
I was going to say, the next one of those guys we need better be called Boo Worms. I'm going to be very disappointed. just need Kerns or something like that.
What if I told you you've now slaughtered the entirety of the dungeon's maintenance staff?
I can live with that. The actions we've done here will haunt me forever. Well, time for the Hellmars. Well, I know they hate fire, and it's one of the few spells I have that can do anything to them, so more firebolts for everybody. I'm going to assume a non-nat 20 is going to work.
Yes, non-nat 20.
Okay, well, Helm Horror 1's going to be copping that one then.
Yep, go ahead, roll and double it.
6 and 9, so happy days, it's 15 times 2, that's 30 points of fire
30
damage.
points of damage, and
Making sure very specifically that only hit Helm Horror so nothing else gets lit on fire.
as he crumbles away, the pieces of armor falling down, clattering across the stone floor.
Wonderful! Hooray!
It is now Ava's turn.
Ava is not going to use a spell slot. She is just going to free action. No, she's not. She's going to fly up above Onyx and just whack at this thing.
Go ahead.
So the first, that was 2 natural 19s. Wow. So that's 29.
Yep, they're both hit. Go ahead, roll damage for both and double the fire damage.
Okay, so that is 7 damage for the first one. 9 physical damage for the second one, and no, that's a D8. I don't want a D8 for the fire damage. D4. 2 damage for the fire.
2 damage for the fire. Okay, it is Onyx's turn.
Okay, Onyx is just gonna whack this guy because I believe the advantage lasts until the end of my next turn.
Indeed, it does.
Yep, until the end of your... Okay, so that's just a normal advantage roll. Okay, that's a 12.
Yep, that's not gonna hit. Your weapon bounces off the armor.
As a bonus action, I am going to... where is it? Sorry, activate a stone Aegis around myself so that I get damage reduction if he hits me.
Yep, okay, it is now Zinhorn's turn.
Alright, so Zinhorn still has his flame tongue sword lit. So firstly, he's going to use his bonus action to have Vine swing the battle axe.
Yep, go ahead.
This is sick. Meanwhile, I'll say that feels the bag holding Russell again.
That is a 19 to hit.
That is unfortunately not a hit. The Vines try their hardest, but they're unable to strike a vulnerable spot of the Helm's Horror.
Zinhorn goes, that's alright. He charges in with his flame sword.
Ah!
Let my vine hit you! That is a 23 to hit.
23 to hit, that's a hit. Roll your damage, double the fire damage.
So that is 3 points of slashing damage.
Yep.
And it is 7 points of fire damage times 2.
7 points of fire damage. Slash! The Helm's Horror burns up. It lets out a shriek as its armor parts clang to the ground.
Also, I would just like to say for the viewers, just because I keep realizing that I do this. When I talk about Bob coming back, I'm talking like that because Onyx fully believes that he's going to be able to bring Onyx back.
Yes.
So that's when I say
They don't know what's
Bob
going to
comes
happen
back.
with the. They don't know what's going to happen with the Soul Monkey yet.
Yeah. So
Neither do we, technically.
yeah, we don't know. I'm just talking like Onyx thinks.
Okay. Combat appears to be over. You now have full reign of Wither's office.
We're gonna keep the
notice-
fire elemental up.
Keep it up, yep. You notice that the office walls are lined with bookshelves filled with hundreds of dusty tomes. The writing desk is covered in old wreaths of parchment and a few tomes of its own, and the skeletal bird just caws at you from its bird cage in one of the dusty corners. And at this point, you notice that the bird cage, rather than being placed atop a small table or pedestal, has been placed on top of a large wooden treasure chest.
Okay. Onyx is going to go into a corner, crouch down behind his shield, and use his second wind.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're going to need a short rest at least at some point very soon with how everything's been going. But before we go any further, I kind of want to see the remains of the dear departed Withers.
Very well. You may head out of the office, and you see the pile of ash that was once Withers. And lying on the ground next to it is the black-coloured amulet he was wearing around his neck. This amulet is carved from obsidian and shaped like a screaming humanoid skull with ruby eyes and emeralds for teeth. It hangs from an iron chain necklace, and as you stand next to it, you could feel powerful magic pulsing from it.
Okay, so originally I was going to ask, is this like a dark shard amulet, but I'm starting to think this is something completely different at this stage.
Zinhorn cast Mage Armor to pick the amulet up so we don't have to physically touch it yet.
I already have Mage Armor on. Are you talking
Mage Hand.
Mage Hand, sorry.
Yeah,
I
Mage
was
Hand
just going to do an Arcana check and not touch it.
Yeah,
but
so
that
use
works.
Mage Hand to touch it.
You use Zinhorn's mage hand, flies out, grabs the iron necklace, and lifts it up in the air in front of Alisander. If Alisander would like to make an Arcana check.
You know damn well I do. That is a non-nat 20.
You study it for a few moments, but you are unable to identify it. The only way to identify it, now that your Arcana check has failed, will be to spend a short rest studying it, or to cast an identify spell.
I rolled a 20. Is it that powerful?
The DC to identify it was 22.
Holy shit!
This is a legendary item.
Holy shit!
Wow.
I'm gonna very carefully just pop that in my bag, and so you said a short rest.
So yeah, short.
Doing that.
Yeah, if you spend a short rest studying it, you can identify it. Otherwise, you
that
need
means I
a
won't cast health back if I do that.
yes. Otherwise, you need an identify spell.
Why do I not know identify? Wait, do I know identify? Hold on a second. Please hold. Please hold.
Zinhorn's gonna go over to the birdie.
Yep. Zinhorn, you walk over.
I do. Can I just spend 10 minutes using identify? I need to know what this thing is now.
All right. So while
You guys do whatever you're doing.
Alisander sits down with with Zinhorn's mage hand still holding the amulet in front of her, Alisander sits down, draws a circle in chalk on the floor around the ash that was Withers, and begins to cast an identification ritual. Meanwhile, Zinhorn, you walk over to the bird cage sitting on top of the treasure chest, and the skeletal bird just watches you. And when you finally arrive in front of the bird cage, now that you're right in front of it, you notice this bird is not alive. Its eye sockets are empty, blank, staring at you. Its skin leathery and rotted, hanging over what appear to be bones that lack flesh.
Sorry, I'm trying really hard not to get Monty Python's Dead Parrot sketch in my head with this. This is an ex-parrot. This parrot has ceased to be. Sorry,
just
continue.
real quick,
see
sorry, are we
anything-
taking a short rest?
You can if you want. Zinhorn's checking out the bird with the treasure chest first.
Honestly,
Yeah, once we get past the 10 minutes for the ritual, yeah, I'm all for that.
Alright, so you guys want to wait 10 minutes for Alexander to have the ritual, then have a short rest?
Is there anything else in the bird cage apart from the bird?
No, the bird is perched on a stick inside the cage on its own. The bottom of the cage appears to be bare. There is not even seed for the bird to eat, although you suspect it doesn't need to. However, the treasure chest underneath the bird cage might be a different story.
Yeah, see, the fact that you said before that combat appears to be over and there's just a treasure chest sitting quietly in the corner by itself. Maybe I'm just being paranoid at this point, but someone want to check, make sure it's...
That's us in general.
No, I just like more so than usual. Just someone want to check to make sure that thing's just a chest.
Well, whilst you're doing your 10 minutes to identify, can I do a 10 minutes detect magic?
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah, I want to just sort of get a feel to make sure that what's going on in the room, if there's any sort of feel of magic or...
So 10 minutes pass, and the bird itself begins to light up from detect magic. There is an aura of necromancy magic emanating from it, obviously because the bird is undead. Meanwhile, out in the hallway, you hear Alexander cheer as her identify ritual completes. And she identifies that this is the Amulet of the Black Skull. It is a legendary, wondrous item, requires attunement. The amulet has 6 charges and regains 1d6 charges daily at dawn. While wearing the amulet, you can use an action to expend one of its charges to transport yourself and anything you are wearing or carrying to a location within 100 feet of you. The destination you choose doesn't need to be in your line of sight, but it must be familiar to you. In other words, a place you have seen or visited, and it must be on the same plane of existence as you. This effect is not subject to the magic restrictions placed on the Tomb of the 9 Gods. You can use this to transport anywhere in the tomb or even enter or exit the tomb.
Oh my god!
However, it is cursed. And the curse is that if you aren't undead, you must make a DC 16 con save each time you use the amulet to transport. On a failed saving throw, the Black Skull cackles as you are transformed in transit. The transformation takes effect as soon as you arrive at the destination and is determined randomly by rolling a D100 and consulting the Black Skull transformation table.
Okay. Now, where do I sit on the dead, on the living / undead bit with the whole undying patron?
You are not No, you are not considered undead. At least I don't believe at level 9.
Okay, well, interesting.
I can only imagine if you tell everyone what that does, what Wongo says in my head.
Oh yeah, you know.
Of course, but that also works out if I plan on actually freaking telling you. Because I don't know if I want to tell you, because the first thing you'll get is, yay, put it on, leap through the walls, who gives a shit?
Does the detect magic get anything from the chest?
It gets nothing from the chest. The chest does not light up at all.
And okay.
Well, so let's do the skull later.
What would you like to do?
You see Alexander walk back in the room after pocketing the amulet, just with a very, very satisfied smirk on her face.
Xenon wants to grab a pencil off the desk and sort of like poke it through the wall, like the cage, just to see what the birdie does.
You poke your stick through the cage, and the bird just looks at you, and as the end of your item draws closer to the bird, it just jumps a couple of centimeters back along the perch that it's on to get away from it. It opens its emaciated beak and lets out a very low-pitched
and then kaboom! We all die.
So, what to do with the treasure chest?
Well, Sinhorn wants to get everyone away from the corner where the thing is, and wants to attempt to use his mage hand to lift the cage off the top whilst we're all like not near it.
Yep, so you advise everyone to get back, and then you make your way back to join the others in the corner, and you sweep your mage hand over, grip the bottom of the bird cage and lift it up. And as soon as you lift the bird cage up, the chest jolts upwards, knocking the bird cage out of your mage hand, and as the bird cage flies up in the air and turns around, a mouth opens on the front of the chest, a big slimy tongue comes out, wraps around the cage and pulls it in, and the spitting mimic chews the cage loudly. Zinhorn, it is your turn.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah. Well, Dinon's going to stay back in the corner and just fire off a frostbite in the direction of the mimic.
It's going to make its save. It rolled a 9.
It does not make its save, so that is...
Oh wait, it has advantage against saving throws. It's got a 3 now, so that's okay, it still failed.
So that is a 9 points of cold, and it has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Very well. Okay.
I'm gonna send the fire elemental over.
Yep, fire elemental's gonna sweep over to this fake chest.
And then first and foremost is going to double multi-attack, sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
That is a 22 to hit for the first one.
22 to hit, that is a hit. Roll the damage.
7 points of fire damage.
Nice, go for another one.
That is another 22 to hit.
Another 22 to hit, that is a hit.
And then that is 9 points of fire damage.
9 points of fire damage, nice.
And then it just wants to, want it to sort of, weasel its way into the space.
Yep, into the spitting mimic space, yep.
Spitting... For 5 points of fire damage and fires it up.
The spitting mimic roars, its tongue roiling around as it engulfs. It is now its turn. You may roll the 1d10.
Throwing dice on the floor. That is 10 points of fire damage.
10 points of fire damage, okay. It opens its mouth wide and hurls a globule of acid at Zinhorn. Zinhorn, I need you to make a dex save, please.
Make that fair enough. That is for a dex save is a 12.
12, that is a fail. Bah! Says the spitting mimic, sticking out its tongue. It fires a globule of acid at you, and you take 34 points of acid damage.
God!
It then...
I'm going to use my absorb elements
to absorb half of that, so you now take 17 points of acid damage. And then the spitting mimic sprouts tiny legs, begins to scurry across the room. 5, 10, 15, 20. It is...
The image of that is amazing.
Yep.
Does the fire elemental get attacked?
He does get an attack of opportunity.
That is an 18 to hit.
18 to hit, that's a hit. Roll the damage.
That is another 7 points of fire damage.
Nice. It is Sir Lucian's turn. He steps forward, draws his sword, and swings at the spitting mimic. The first is a 14, so he's unable to hit it as it ducks and scurries around with its numerous little spindly legs. The second is a 27. He hits it and deals 10 points of piercing damage. Of slashing damage, sorry. It is now Alisander's turn.
Okay, well, Alessander is going to just happily move across to the other side of the room, away from, and just sort of take the long way around the room towards
stand to where the fire elemental is. The heat, you feel the heat billowing from this fire elemental as you run towards it.
I mean, to be fair, I I technically have scales now, so I'm part snake, so it's probably nice to be in the warmth.
It is nice to be in the warmth. It's pleasant.
Hooray, lovely. Alright, well, time to go back to the old favorites. Eldritch Blast away at Mr. Spitting Mimics.
Yep, go ahead, roll to hit.
Okay, that's... just have this time. Does a 15 hit on the first
A
one?
15 does hit.
Oh, good. And the next one's a 19, so both hits there.
Yep.
Alright. So that's 13 on the first one, and 14 on the second.
14 on the second. 14, unfortunately.
Sorry, 15 on the second for damage. So that's,
yep.
It's 28 points of force damage all up there.
Nice. The spitting mimic topples over, hits the floor, and rolls away, its tongue roiling. Its spindly legs scuttle, struggling until it manages to flip itself upright.
This thing needs to go away, because I'd still like to actually check this library.
It is now Ava's turn.
Ava is going to fly up and take a shot at it.
Go ahead, roll to hit.
That is a 22.
That's a hit. Roll your damage.
A longbow, that is a D8. That is... Where's her sheet? Plus 6. That's 13 physical damage, and psychic damage is a 2.
Says the spitting mimic as its tongue grows limp and it topples over onto its side, melting into a puddle of ooze.
Yeah, good.
They're only CR4 spitting mimics, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Combat is now truly over.
Zinon just looks over and goes, I'm glad I got everyone away before I removed the bird.
Well, so Alessandra's still sitting there, like, dusted herself off and still has the smoke in her face going, well, with his time with us was short-lived, though he did leave a nice present on the way out. I know about the rest of you, though, but the rest would be lovely right about now. It's been a very exciting few hours.
Indeed. What would you like to do?
Zinon gets the fire elemental just to go and wait at the door.
Yep, your fire elemental swooshes over the writing desk and waits outside the door, and the heat in the room immediately dissipates, making the room far more comfortable to stand in.
And then I guess we rest.
Hooray!
So, we'd like to have a short rest. Go ahead, have a short rest. So Lucian's going to use his second wind.
Oh, that's right, I get my second wind back after doing a short rest. Good.
You sure do.
So Lucian has spent 3 hit dice to bring himself back up to full health.
I unfortunately needed to spend all 6 of my sorcerer hit die, but I'm back up to full health.
Lovely.
I've spent 3 to get myself close to full.
Yep. So
Yeah, I spent 4 to get myself up close.
you spend the next 10 minutes making yourselves as comfortable as you can in Wither's office, leaning against the walls and bookshelves, using your magical horn to summon some nourishing food, which you wolf down, constantly stopping and looking over your shoulders, expecting trouble at any moment, but it never comes. And when you stand up again 10 minutes later, you are feeling much more refreshed and ready to press on.
Quick question, when anyone did detect magic, did anything on the shelves?
No, nothing on the shelves. It was literally only the bird.
Okay.
You could still search all the shelves and see what's on them if you like.
I think everyone's fine with me doing a quick investigation, because, you know,
roll.
it's the first library I'll
Roll
send
the
is
investigation dice, please.
Alright, investigation. It's only a 12.
A 12. You do a brief search of all of the books and some of the paperwork scattered around the office for about 10-20 minutes, and you from what you're able to tell, the majority of it appears to be centuries worth of records detailing the names and professions of adventurers who stepped into the dungeon, how long they lasted, how far they got, and what manner of trap or enemy finally dispatched them. Most of the entries then go on to record the dates and times when these adventurers were either ground up to be made into magical fluid for Withers and the Tomb Dwarves' use for energizing traps and making Tomb Guardians, which of the adventurers were turned into Tomb Guardians, and even in the case of exactly 6 entries in the records, which adventurers were turned into Tomb Dwarves to serve under Withers.
Oh, so that's what he is.
Yes, who himself, according to one of the very earliest entries, which is written in a different hand, was once a human wizard who was part of an adventuring party who journeyed into the dungeon. One of the very first adventurers to fall victim to the machinations of the dungeon, thence resurrected to serve as Asarak's right hand in charge of running the dungeon and making sure it is maintained and kept running smoothly.
Well, finally putting the rest at last.
A chill runs down your spine as you realise that you haven't even checked all of the books, but the few that you have checked number at least 300 or 400 adventurers who have entered and perished within this dungeon.
Does Alessander, like, while she's reading, tell everyone that this is a view of records of how people died, like what traps?
Do you?
Yeah. She'll just be sitting there and just sort of,
Onyx
she's mostly
and
talking like out to herself.
Yeah,
but yes, usually
everyone
just,
can hear her.
Onyx and Ava would start looking through books to see if we can identify which rooms have what traps.
Please roll investigation.
Okay, so one of those was shit, one of those was half decent. Ava got a 17 in investigation, Onyx got a 5.
Ava and Onyx immediately rush over to the bookshelf opposite Alessander, grab the books out and begin flipping through them. And you determine that there is some sort of record determining where the traps are. However, it's written in a way that only Withers or his staff would understand. For example, one of the books recounts the tale of Sir Tuckersby, who entered with his party approximately 50 years ago before falling victim to the crushing trap in room 51. Without an actual map of the dungeon itself, these room numbers mean nothing to you.
Damn.
Shame.
However, you can determine the names of several traps that you've yet to encounter within the tomb, with ominous names such as Slard Circle, Drowning in Wine, Fake Tomb, Long Fall, Terracotta Army.
Hey.
Terracotta Army, Journey to Another World, Wardrobes of War. And that appears to be the majority of them, unless you want to spend at least a day doing a thorough search of these books and records. Those are the main entries you can find.
I mean, I'd love to, but obviously we're still on a time limit. If we could at least make a note of those particular ones, because...
While Ava's investigating, just for flavor, what's like the furthest anyone has got?
According to the records, the furthest anyone has got in the dungeon is right down to level 4. It appears nobody has ever entered level 5. However, the records do state that on a number of occasions, a couple of decades apart, the layout of the dungeon has been shifted, with traps being relocated between different rooms.
Okay.
Still, despite the configuration of the tomb, nobody has made it further than level 4. And as you read this, Wongo just shouts, "Let's go down the stairs to level 4 right now!"
So how many levels does it actually mention there being in this place?
It doesn't say, it just says the furthest anyone has gotten is level 4, and makes a note that no one has ever set foot in level 5, in any configuration of the tomb.
So we know there's at least...
You know there's at least 5 levels. At least 4 or 5 levels.
Oh god, if we die now, does that mean we're going to become the new withers and fucking maintenance stuff?
Yes.
Alessandra's getting...
Yes, it dawns on you as you place the books back into the bookshelf that now that the Tomb Dwarfs and Withers has been dispatched, if you are to perish in this tomb, you will most likely be risen again as the replacements.
You see Alessandra just getting up and goes, well, I suppose there are worse things I could do with the rest of eternity.
If we were playing Call of Cthulhu, that realization would be enough to allow you to make a SAN examination.
Same checks for everybody. Alessandra just looks and goes, I'm sure you'll make fabulous looking dwarves.
So, what would you like to do?
Well, now that we've had a rest and we've done...
You've prevented the tomb from resetting now.
So we got that going for us at least.
Can Onyx go and study the secret door, but not open it? Like, just see if he can get any idea what's behind it without opening it.
Yep, please make a perception roll.
Perception, okay. That's a modified 20.
So, it appears that this is the back side of the door. You're not supposed to see it from this side. It's likely meant to serve as a secret entrance for the tomb staff to enter and leave out into level 2. On the other side, you hear nothing but the soft sound of running water.
Oh, good. It's another fountain. Okay. Soft sound of running water. I don't like that. The problem is, for us to go anywhere else on this level, presumably we need to go through this room.
Yeah, unless you want to head back upstairs and take the other route down.
I'm back.
Or you can head down the spiral stairs to level 3 if you want.
That is the other idea, but we have been warned not to get ahead of ourselves. I pantomime running water.
Yep. Ava comes over, presses her head against the door, and she nods, informing everybody that the sound of trickling water can be heard on the other side of this secret door. So what do you say? Want to push the door open?
Onyx stands back and lets the others decide.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucian nods, he steps forwards, places his hand on the back of the secret door, and
I make sure that the fire elemental is like far enough away so that it won't...
Yep.
If water starts flowing out of
water, and he groans with effort as he pushes the door open, revealing on the other side
another fucking fountain.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, we take one look at that Alessandra, just immediately starts staring daggers at Onyx and goes, no.
Behind the secret door, water fills a carved stone font. On the other side of it is yet another secret door, presumably leading out into level 2 of the tomb proper.
Either way, Alessandra's just staring at Onyx, just going, I assume no one's going to be dumb enough to try and drink from this one.
Wongo immediately barks in Onyx's head. Go! Drink it! See if it does anything different! Drink it! Drink it! And Overlarker in Zinhorn's head is saying, please, don't drink it. If he wants to do it, just let him. But don't drink it.
Can the spirits hear each other?
They can, yes. But you're getting the impression that they can. As if to confirm it, Moa just says, yes, indeed. Please, don't drink from that, Alessandra, my dear.
Although, I was going to say, there is one thing she does do. She does pull out Blinky and goes, I don't suppose you want to try and go back to your original state, do you?
Blinky looks up and bats her feminine eyebrows. Then she looks over at the well and gives you a look suggesting that she doesn't particularly care, but if you want to test the water, she's willing.
Is there anything, any words, any scriptures, any...
Nothing. Completely bare.
Well, so we'll take Blinky and just sort of dunk it. See what happens. I'll blink it, whatever we want to call it.
Hold out your hand. Blinky swoops forwards, perches on the edge of the well, and sticking out a tiny eye stalk begins to splash water into her open mouth. She splashes in about a mouthful and then waits, looking back at you, and it appears nothing at all has happened.
Nothing?
It appears nothing at all has happened. That settles it, yells Wongo. Go and stick your head in the well!
Zinhorn just walks away and...
I was going to say, how so the person goes, maybe the stealth version is less cursed.
What would you guys like to do?
I'm saying this church shit, not drinking it.
Against all my better judgment, I'm not going to drink it.
You're not going to drink it? Yep.
Listen to me,
Although, to be fair, what's the worst that could happen? I could just get silenced for another 8 hours, or I could take up to 50 damage.
So you want to drink it?
Zinhorn walks to the other door.
Yep, Zinhorn's gonna walk to the other door.
This is your one and only opportunity. We're not going to stop you from being an idiot.
And
No, I'm not going to.
You're not going to?
I'm not going
Alright.
to.
Very
the
well.
fire elemental to like shrink itself and sort of like make its way around the corner as
Yep,
well.
fire elemental shrinks down to your size. It joins you, shirking away from the well as it moves past, and you see it visibly shudder as the water trickles along the surface of the well. And then Sir Lucian grabs the back of this secret door and with a loud groan hoists it open, granting you access to the second floor, to the balcony of the second level, right in the looking over the now 80-foot hole leading down to the bottom of the dungeon. This portion of the stairwell is essentially identical to the one above, save for the walls of this level being decorated with images of green laughing devils and the stench of mildew and decay that grows ever stronger. On the easternmost wall, you spy a bronze placard glistening in the light of Ava's moon-touched blade. You walk up to it and realize it is another warning from Asarak. I will place it in Discord.
That's right, we get these on every level.
This is Asarak's second warning. It reads, "The ring is a path to another tomb. the dead pour sunlight. Only a jewel can tame the frog. Bow as the dead god intoned, and into darkness descend.
Huh.
There are multiple ways you can go from here. There is a staircase leading up to level 1, a staircase leading down to level 3. There is also a corridor leading off to the north, one leading to the east, and a large metal door to the south.
Well, I think we can take a stab at the frog one. As far as who's on this level, at least one of the gods on this level.
Yep. The frog myth.
Or the grunt.
Not to another team.
Good old Ning Ning.
So, how would you like to proceed?
From south, a crap ton to the east, and one tiny ass hallway to the north.
Sir Lucian looks and he says, the hallway to the north looks as if it's a dead end. Perhaps we should start small.
I mean, logically that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Obviously we'll have to check to make sure it's not completely and utterly trapped from the get-go, but yes, I can work with that.
Yep.
Alright, north.
So you make your way along the balcony and step into the northernmost corridor.
Before we step in, Zinhorn wants to just to check, make sure the floor's evened out, there's no pressure plates, there's...
Zinhorn, please make a perception check.
I'm just looking at the end of this
that
hallway.
is a passive is high of 19.
Passive is part. Yep. So you stare down the narrow hallway, and it appears to be completely bare. All of the stone tiles are on the same elevation as where you currently stand, and the walls appear to be completely bare, save for the same decorations of laughing green devils.
Okay.
Oh, into darkness descend. Oh, that spiral staircase went down into darkness.
Yeah, but that was also in the staff area.
Yeah, it was also in the staff area, so...
We might still find yeah.
So, what exactly are we looking at the end of this goddamn hallway?
Would you like to make your way down the corridor?
Well, we make our way down.
You
The
slowly...
fire elemental first.
Yep, fire elemental first. Very well. The fire elemental makes its way down the corridor. The light, the flickering flames illuminating the devilishly grinning images on the wall. And right as it steps out of the corridor at the very end, all of the faces open their mouths and cackle as a wave of necrotic energy surges down the hallway and blasts the fire elemental into a puff of smoke.
Well, I'm glad.
Yes, that's...
Interesting.
So that seems like nothing fun. Is there anything? Is it just one big blast of necrotic energy? There isn't anything
just
about it.
One big blast that surged down the hallway, struck the fire elemental, and you notice that now that the elemental is gone, the images carved into the walls no longer appear to be laughing. They're just staring neutrally into the center of the hallway.
Did that do damage, or did it just extinguish?
Yeah, well, it did enough. It did damage. It was enough damage to destroy it.
It says that it has like 12d10 plus 36 HP.
I rolled it and it was 138 damage. So I'm pretty sure that's something. Yeah.
I'm glad I confirmed that.
Yes.
So...
Are you confident that the trap is now deactivated?
No. Do you want to send a shadow down to make sure?
I I'm still just trying to look and see what we have for the. I don't know which one of these things on the plate are going to be involving this particular room. I don't know.
If you ask Onyx, he will, but he won't do it of his own volition. Like, he won't do it without being asked.
Just looking at it and go, do we think that it's safe, or do we want to send something else down to confirm?
Alessandro just keeps looking down. Well, I would happily send something, but everything we seem to kill keeps turning into dust or
Yeah,
disintegrating.
and all of the bones you found are on the bottom level.
Yes, any bones we have found are all now about 80 feet below us, and I'm not going down there to find them.
It's okay, there's plenty of bones on this level if you know where to look.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm more concerned with the freaking BFG sitting at the end of the goddamn hallway.
So what would you like to do?
So, the masks are in a neutral state now, is that
They
correct?
yep, they no longer appear to be laughing, they're just staring down the hallway.
Is there any actual point to this room? Do any of the gods, like this, I don't know if this is a freaking tomb or not. We can't see. We can't actually
know.
see to the end of this.
You'll
We
have
don't know, do
to
we?
go. You'll have to go right in and take a look if you to be able to actually determine what it is.
I feel like this is just a trap designed for the sake of being a trap, and so I'm trying to find what the stuff about the gods is to see if there's even anything related to that on here. Because I honestly refuse to.
You can tell from where you stand, it does not look like there's a tomb at the end of that hallway. You can't see anything that would resemble a sarcophagus. You can see a large, pointy green object, but nothing that would resemble a sarcophagus.
Do you want to risk trying to go down this thing?
Well, Zinhorn with the voice in his head is saying that no.
Yeah, Zinhorn would probably
No,
like to
that's-
stay back, but we know
I
what
was
Wongo
going to say, yeah, my walk is probably like screaming at this point, just no.
I think we should check and see if it's safe before we actually walk down there, because that one-shots that elemental, and that's a very powerful magic I use on those elementals.
Well, I'm not going to throw Blinky down there, if that's what you're intending.
Just look over at Onyx and go, well, does it hurt when the shadow takes damage?
Onyx shakes his head, shrugs, and sends out a shadow.
Alright. Onyx's shadow, perhaps feeling the call of Wongo, charges down the narrow corridor and steps out through the opening at the end, completely unharmed.
He can't actually get into that square.
Oh, he can't? He can only get...
He can only get to 30 feet. If he goes more than 30 feet away from me, he just gets destroyed.
The shadow reaches the part of the hallway where the trap, or whatever it was, seems to have activated, but stands unharmed.
Interesting. Zinhorn just looks at the others still with a very cautious look on his eyes going, I don't know.
What would you like to do? Head down, follow the shadow?
Onyx walks 5 feet in and sends the shadow another 5 feet.
Onyx, you step 5 feet ahead into the corridor, and likewise your shadow walks along with you. You watch as your shadow emerges into the room at the end and looks back at you, unharmed.
No cackles, no nothing,
No cackles, no sounds. The images of green devils on the walls make no movement or any sign of life.
Onyx steps out of the hallway, letting his shadow disperse to dust.
Yep.
Steps to the side and does that whole bow thing with the arms sweeping, as if, up to you now.
Yep. with a flourish, Onyx gestures towards the corridor. It says, "It's up to you. You know what Wongo wants."
I would say up to you if I could speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, if you
Has
could
it
speak.
been another hour since we entered this
Yeah,
floor
yeah,
yet,
it's
or-
been about an hour. So 7 hours to
so
go.
I'm now down to 6 hours, because it took an hour to get to the staircase.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm down to 6 hours. Woo-hoo!
Yes,
Slowly getting
yes,
there.
yes. 6 hours to go. So, what would you like to do? Head down the corridor?
Did sunlight.
So you slowly make your way down the corridor, flinching at every noise you hear. But nothing happens as you emerge in the room on the other side of the corridor. The walls and floors of this 15-foot square room are cracked and carved with images of terrified humanoids falling. Set into the middle of the floor is a stone bas-relief of a bearded devil face painted green. Forlorn cries echo from the black void of its gaping maw, which points straight down below you.
I'm coming here again?
Is the maw completely black?
Yes, and it's also facing up. The maw is essentially a hole leading down. You can crawl in. If you crawl into the mouth, you'll be descending.
Descending into darkness.
I would like to stand in the opening to the hallway, like from this end, so
Yep.
we're basically the square below the chin. Summon my shadow and get the shadow to climb into the hole.
Very well. You summon your shadow. Your shadow looks at you as if you're certain, and you nod. Your shadow climbs up onto the bearded devil statue and descends into the black void on the other side. Nothing appears to happen. Do you order your shadow to go deeper?
I would like it to keep going as deep as it can. And if it gets 30 feet away, it's going to disperse,
Yep.
so I should know about it.
I would like you to make an acrobatics check for your shadow.
For my shadow, sure. Acrobatics is a +1.
Honestly, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with Alessander being in the hallway directly in the line of this.
Oh, cool. That's a 19.
A 19.
So far, every dex check I've rolled fairly high to get the +1.
For the next 5 nerve-wracking minutes, your shadow climbs deeper and deeper into the devil's mouth until about 20 or so feet down, it reaches the very bottom of the chute underneath the devil face. And feeling around at its feet, it grasps something in its hand, something hard, pointed, cube-shaped.
Okay.
It's nothing but the lamp.
Order it to climb.
I'm sorry, Captain.
Keep in mind, so you peer over into the darkness, and you can't actually see what your shadow has picked up.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that you have dark vision, you can determine that this is magical darkness. If you
Yep.
wish to see
no.
what your shadow is actually doing, you'd have to dispel it.
I will get Ava to cast Dispel Magic from where she is, so she's not right
Yep.
next to the mouth.
Doing what? I was going to say, if it's saying into darkness descent, do we want to dispel this darkness? Because we don't know if the darkness is keeping whatever, like, just happened before from happening again. I don't know.
Well,
I don't
then,
know.
in that case, I'll get my shadow to climb up.
Alright, make an
Holding-
acrobatics check for it, please.
Oh, shit, that's a 4.
4. Your shadow tries to scramble up, but not being able to see, it misplaces its hand about halfway up, drops down, and takes 8 points of bludgeoning damage as it hits the floor.
It dispels them because
Yeah,
it only has 1
dispels.
HP.
Yep, and you hear the sound of whatever it was holding just clatter at the bottom as it falls back down to the bottom of the shaft.
So we know it's 12, sorry,
About
20
feet,
down,
yes. Yes.
And one of us just Mage Hand down there, since Mage Hand goes for 30 feet.
If you like. Who's game to do it?
I would advise that everyone get out of the way of the mouth first before anything happens, in case anything happens.
Yeah,
So,
I think we'll put back down.
Oh, I was going to say maybe move to like the sides and stuff, so if it decides to fire a massive blast down the hallway, we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, just stand to the side.
Basically, yeah. Including me, because I don't want to. Yeah, thank you. Alright, so Zinhorn and myself, who wants to put the magic hand down the damn shit first?
Ladies first?
Fine.
Alessandra, you shoot your mage hand down into the devil's maw until you feel the hard, cube-shaped thing grasped in your mage hand's fingers, and then you lift it up, and your mage hand emerges from the dark void, holding in its hand what appears to be a plain stone cube with a design carved into it. As the mage hand hovers over to you, you're able to get a close look at the cube, and you realise carved into it is what appears to be an image of a shambling zombie with a large cross carved through it.
Okay. Can I roll anything to see if I can identify what that is?
You can make you can make an Arcana check or an Intelligence check if you like.
That's solid options. I like Arcana. I like Arcana more when I can roll higher than 13.
It's okay, 13 is enough.
Oh.
You identify that this cube appears to have a very simple and limited magical function. If a hand is placed over the image of the zombie, it will turn undead. Only once, as a first level cleric. At this point it will lose all of its charge and become nothing more than an inert stone cube.
So they've one free use of turn undead.
Yes, as a first level cleric.
Fair enough.
I'll send a look at that and explain to the rest of you guys. It's a simple trick, but why would that be here of all things?
Especially as the forlorn cries continue echoing out from the devil's mouth as you hold this cube.
Next question would be, has there been any changes to the faces on the wall?
No, they appear to be the same.
So, who wants the magic cube?
Anyone just looks at someone else.
Anyone? Magic cube? I mean, Ava's the closest thing we have to a cleric.
Sir Lucian just shrugs. Ava, do you want Ava to take it?
I was going to say she's basically the closest thing we have to a cleric.
Yeah, you don't need to be a cleric to activate it.
Yeah,
so.
it'll turn undead as a first level cleric, yes, so...
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like CR a quarter or something along those lines.
Yeah.
You know what Zinhorn's like with undead things.
Yeah, Alessandra's usually happy working with the undead, not turning them away. So,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Sure, if you want Ava to take it, sure.
Yeah, Ava reaches out,
Curse
scoops it
object.
up in her wind. There doesn't appear to be any curse on it as she grasps her feathered hand around it. Nothing happens. She looks completely unfazed.
Okay, so let me just write it down.
The
So,
cube of
turn
turning.
undead scroll.
Yeah, turn undead. Basically a scroll.
Turn undead scroll.
It's just the fact that it's in a
Level
cube.
one.
The fact that it's in a cube shape tells you that perhaps it serves a specific purpose.
Yeah, okay.
So what would you like to do? You make your way back down the corridor. The trap appears to be well and truly deactivated. The green faces simply watch as you emerge back out into the stairwell.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like I was being watched.
Hey, you still feel like you're being watched because the walls out here are decorated with the same green faces. However, these ones, unlike the others, appear to be permanently locked in an expression of gleeful laughter.
Okay.
Well, thankfully, we only lost a fire elemental.
Yeah, better to than literally anyone else, because if it did anyone else, we probably would be dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, where to from here?
Peek down the next hallway, I suppose?
Yep, the one to the east. Zinhorn, please make a perception check.
That is a 21.
You peer down this long, narrow hallway. You see nothing of note in the hallway itself, except about halfway down the hallway, you see there are two openings to the north and south of the hallway, and the middle of the hallway has two ramps leading up into both of these openings. At the very end of the hallway, you can see a large open room with a checkered marble floor and what appears to be a stone sarcophagus right in the middle of it.
Are any noises coming from down there?
You can hear no noises.
And does there look like there's any pressure plates or anything in the hallway?
Not that you can detect.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you're not confident about this hallway, you can head it down and check the door to the south.
Second guessing everything.
That's the function. This is the Tomb of Nine Gods.
Is there anything on the walls? Any this? Is it still
The same green laughing faces. However, much like the ones in the balcony, these ones appear to just be painted on the wall and are permanently locked in that expression.
Who wants to go first?
No.
Looks at Onyx with his crazy brain.
You can guess what's going through Onyx's head at the moment.
Yep. Dead sprint down the hallway, see what happens.
Go. Yeah, I can send a shadow out if you want. It could probably, not great at dodging distance, but I think it could probably get to the just before that cross section. I can't exactly look.
Yeah, I think that if I can guess on how big most of the cubes are, I'll probably get just before.
Measurements are a little bit off.
What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'll send my shadow.
You conjure your shadow, and you send him down into the corridor. He reaches just about the midsection, just enough to feel with his foot that in the middle of the corridor, the floor does arc up evenly, both to the south and north, almost as if the cross-section of the corridor is a giant circular-shaped room, but it cannot proceed any further.
He can't go any further. I will take 5 foot of movement into the corridor and send my shadow another 5 foot.
Your shadow moves another 5 feet into the cross-section itself. As he feels the floor with his legs, you can feel that this does appear to be the very bottom of a circle.
Circle.
But nothing happens?
Nothing happens.
Wait, so you're saying the middle part is like an actual circle? It's not just.
Yeah, it might be an actual circle. You don't know.
The ring is apart to another two. Is that what it's referring to? I mean,
Maybe.
But so far, like, there's been no pressure plays, nothing setting anything off.
No, nothing. Perhaps the traps on this
I'm just
level are a
gonna
bit
put
more devious.
my token down so I know where I am.
Yep.
Oh, it's underneath.
I know. I'll
shadow.
put it. I'll put it.
Okay.
I know where it is.
No, it's underneath the shadow, so I can't even see it.
You know, but I know where it is.
Oh,
So,
yeah, okay. No, it was just for my. It was
Yeah.
only for my reference, so that I know how far in I've gone.
Oh, well, you're here.
My shadow's there.
Yeah, your shadow's here. You're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might just put my token here,
Yeah, put it.
just
put
so
it-
that
yeah.
I know how far I am in.
Yes, there you go. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. So
Okay.
until someone wants to step further into the corridor, you won't be able to get a good look at what's actually there.
Well, it seems like it's safe enough, I suppose.
You could,
Well,
you
my
know that at the
shadow
very
has
least,
weight, so-
yeah, you know at the very least you can move to the cross section.
Yeah, Zinhorn's going to move up and just sort of get a bit of a look. Not go into like the cross section, but just before it so we can see both ways.
Yep. So Zinhorn, you see that there is a four-way intersection, and the corridors to the north and south curve upward out of sight, with no rails or steps to allow them to be climbed.
And there's still on the other side of the cross section. There's like still all like no strings, no.
No, nothing.
I'm gonna be about 5 minutes. I'm just putting pizzas on for dinner.
Yep.
Please don't get me killed.
So who wants to? So Alessander,
I
you want to
I'm gonna
step?
try.
You want to step up to where the shadow is at the very least, because you could assume that's probably safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I'll stay in the first part of the hallway so as to not at least get
I
up
can
to
now
where the
reveal
ring
it
is.
because everyone stepped into the cross
There's a
section.
dead body. There's a dead body there.
Indeed, the corpse of a half-human, half-goat creature in robes sprawls about 10 feet to the north. It grips a staff tipped with a bronze goat's head, and here, standing in the cross-section, you can determine that the corridors to the north and the south do curve upwards, and indeed this cross-section appears to be a gigantic circle, moving upwards to the south and the north, and then meeting again above your heads, completing the ring.
So it is the ring.
Really
You
is a
said
ring.
that there's a staff.
Yep, the dead body is holding a staff.
Does it look like the body's been there for a while?
There is still colour and flesh to the body, so it appears, from where you were standing anyway, that this person perished perhaps only a day or two ago.
But who the hell could have gotten here a day before us? As far as we know, no one's come in here before
Maybe
us.
slightly longer than that.
Possibly. I didn't
And
actually
like,
think
of the
that
smoke.
that's an issue.
Zinhorn, do you want to go up and check the corpse?
Zinhorn doesn't want to walk up there.
That's probably...
I mean, Maid's not going to be able to carry the damn thing back, and
Well, I do have another method of grabbing onto things.
Oh yeah, vines.
Fine. So you want to try to pull the body down to where you are?
At least want to grab the staff.
Alright.
Mhm.
The staff will require no check. You just fling out your vine, wrap it around the staff, and pull it down to the bottom of the ring where you stand. As
Interesting
the
to
staff,
say.
as the vine drops the staff at your feet, it clatters onto the stone, and you can all feel magic. You can all feel magic pulsating out of the staff.
Arcana check.
Yeah.
If you like.
I mean, it's usually my go-to for any of these situations.
Yeah, go ahead. Make an Arcana check.
18.
18. You look at the staff and you identify it rather quickly. It is a staff of striking. It is a very rare weapon, requires attunement. This staff can be wielded as a magic quarterstaff that grants a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. The staff has 10 charges. When you hit with a melee attack using it, you can expend up to 3 of its charges. For each charge you expend, the target takes an extra 1d6 force damage. The staff regains 1d6 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn. You could tell that this staff is incredibly powerful, but surely this is a rather ordinary staff of striking. And there is no... that you don't feel entirely confident that that explanation is enough to explain the sheer power of the magic you could feel emanating from it, buffeting you, making your hair stand on end as if there's a field of static electricity around you.
Oh, this thing is so goddamn tempting. That would be utterly perfect considering I use a quarterstaff.
Well, if you want it, it's yours.
Yeah, but I do. But I also feel like there's getting more to this damn thing, and I need to do identify or detect magic to try and figure out what the deal is.
Well, detect magic will only sort of tell you what type of magic, whereas identify
Yeah,
will
but that
tell
will
you...
provide an idea. Whereas, yeah, identify will fully identify it. Some of the items in this tomb are quite hard to identify with Arcana checks.
Yeah, okay, so either I sit for 10 minutes or I just cast it straight off.
Entirely up to you. What would you
we're
like?
not in a great spot if we're sitting for 10 minutes. Just...
Well, there doesn't appear to be anything in the ring aside from the dead body. In fact, you notice that the dead body is kind of slumped halfway up the side of the ring, which makes no sense because gravity doesn't work that way. He should have at least slid down to the bottom where you are.
I would like to take a gold coin and throw it up the ring to see what happens.
You take a gold coin and you hurl it up the north towards the dead body, and it reaches...
I'm trying to get past it to see what happens.
It reaches just beyond the dead body and clatters as it hits the side of the ring, but instead of bouncing off and falling back down to where the ground is more flat, it seems to stick right there to the curvature in the floor.
I swear to God, if I'm at 0 health again...
You're not at 0 health. No one's been hurt.
We found a really powerful staff and what appears to be...
Anti-Grav Ring.
Yeah.
An Anti-Grav Ring. Apparently this ring doesn't apply to the rules of gravity.
If you wanted to, if you wanted to, it looks like you could just walk up the side.
How tall is the ring?
Altogether, about 30 feet. About 30 feet above you is the where the paths loop together.
If someone wants to test it, we can wrap a vine around you as you go, just in case something happens and you fall.
Okay, alright.
I just set my shadow up around.
Can you see what the shadow sees, or...?
No, but
you could send
it has
him up.
weight though, so...
Yeah, you can send him up if you want.
I assume when you say anti-grav, it's not I can stand at the bottom and jump to the top. It's more it's keeping you attached.
Stick to the floor.
Yeah, you'll stick to the floor.
I can send... Well, look, we can always send someone up to see what's up there, but we can send my shadow up first to activate any pressure plates.
Very well.
Okay, well, if we're seeing the shadow, can the rest of us get out of the way of the...
That's a good idea. So you step back into where Onyx is.
But first, what did we fine. Did you say we found a staff or something?
Yeah, staff of
Not
striking.
staff, which we don't really know what the full.
A +3, a plus
Yeah.
3/4 staff that can expend charges to deal 1d6 force damage. Was clutched in the hands of the dead body.
Fair enough.
But we feel
Yeah,
like
I know.
more of a presence, more of a magic presence.
Yeah.
I have to sit down to figure out what else this thing does.
So,
But yes, I'm very tempted by it. Alison, hey, but in character, out of character, very, very, very tempted by it.
So would you like to send your shadow to the north or to the south?
The dead guy's to the north, isn't he?
He is.
That doesn't mean that the trap's only north. It just means that only one
That's-
person's gone north.
Yeah, and
I
died
would
there.
send my shadow north
Yep. Your shadow.
with the reasoning that we know there's a trap there. We can at least figure out what it is. Well,
Yeah.
I can figure out what it is because I don't care what the others do.
You watch as your shadow moves to the north, eventually reaching the dead body. And as your shadow steps over the dead body, he brushes away the dead body's hand with his feet, revealing a yellowed piece of parchment underneath. The shadow continues walking up the ring, attaching to the side and following the curvature of the floor until he's above you. He continues walking along the very top of the ring, and then when he reaches the cross-section, he blinks out of existence with no fanfare, no magical effect or anything visible. He just ceases to be.
Okay, well, we can all see that parchment, yeah?
So
Yes.
I feel him disperse.
You don't feel him disperse. You feel that he is still active. You just don't see him anymore.
Okay, well, I'd like to maintain the parchment.
I can't relay that either.
Yeah.
But we all see him disappear.
Yeah, you all see him just disappear silently with no fanfare. Just 1 second he's there, he takes a step forward, and then blink, he's gone.
The ring is a path to another tomb.
Teleportation magic, perhaps? Either way, I'd like to maintain that parchment over.
He can't be more than 30 feet away from you, though. If he hasn't disappeared.
Either way, actually, there's no trap on the actual dead body. I'd actually like to go up and
Yep,
one, inspect the body, and two, check the parchment that was.
yep. So as you approach the body, I'd like you to make an investigation check, please. Unless you're checking for his cause of death, that would be a medicine check.
No, I don't have medicine at all.
Zinhorn will go up and do a medicine.
Yep.
I have 23 on the just straight up investigation.
Yep, and Zinhorn, make a medicine check, please.
16.
16. Okay, so you examine the corpse, and he appears to be a human wizard of some description, wearing long, flowing red robes. Kind of similar to what the Thayan wizards wear, but not having any identifying insignias. You notice that portions of his face, however, have subtle goat-like features. There's fur sprouting from his chin. His eyes have curved into almost the visage of a devil, and his feet have entirely turned into hooved, furred, goat-like legs. Zinhorn, you notice that there are a number of cuts and bruises around his body, and you quickly determine that his cause of death was from stabbing. He appears to have fallen in battle. Perhaps he was fleeing up the cube to escape something, but did not get very far.
Yeah.
Sympathy for the devil.
He carries upon him an ink pot that should by all rights have spilled as it's lying on its side, but it's still filled with ink. This quickly allows you to determine that this is an ink pot that never runs dry and always refills itself. He is also in a pouch just underneath his robe. You see a leather-bound spell book, and it contains the following spells: Alarm, Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Expeditious Retreat, Identify, Illusory Script, Sleep, Tenz's Floating Disc, Arcane Lock, Cloud of Daggers, Flaming Sphere, Knock, Dispel Magic, and Fireball.
Ooh. That's a good list.
Much like with the Thayan spell books, you may spend a short or long rest converting any one of these spells into a scroll.
I mean, technically speaking, I think Tensor's Floating Disc is a ritual spell to begin with, so I could copy that.
It is indeed. You can just copy that indeed if you like.
Well, I don't really know if I have much use for that one. That's mostly for, like, carrying stuff, I believe. Either way, definitely...
So is Alarm. Alarm is also a ritual.
That is true. That is true.
Pretty good.
Okay, what is the scroll that... I will definitely take that inkwell, though. The never-ending inkwell is...
But the spells in the book that are rituals are Tenz's Floating Disc, Illusory Script, and Alarm. But you'd like to read the parchment? You snatch up the parchment and unfurl it, and I'm going to put it in Discord for you. It reads, "To those who find this, know that I, Devlin Bashir, am the last surviving member of the Company of the Yellow Banner. The warlord Ras Nasi stripped us of our weapons and threw us in here on orders of his master, Asarak. I can only imagine our souls to be fed to his phylactery. Alas, it seems he has won. Our company was separated after the incident with the four-armed gargoyle. The Tomb Guardians tore Seward to pieces, and with him, we lost the Starfallen. Our quest was a failure. Even if we'd found the eye, the elf princess was gone. My friends wouldn't have lasted long without their weapons, especially with a doppelganger in our midst, as Seth suspected. Of course, I kept my staff. I'm sure Brixton would have seen some humour in that. Gentle reader, let a dying man offer you one piece of advice. Asarak is a trickster who desires nothing but your soul. His riddles may help you, but in the end, his final secret always leads to your doom. Timora save us all."
Well then, we have ourselves another mystery on our hands. Devlin Bashir, what is... does any of this sound familiar at all?
The name sounds familiar from something, but I don't think it's D&D related that I recognise.
I will make Sir Lucian attempt a history check.
Sir Lucian? Okay.
Sir Lucian grumbles as he said, Company of the Yellow Banner. Daredevil Adventuring Company. Perhaps they came to Omu in search of riches.
Well, they definitely found something here.
Is Starfallen a race or is it an item in this context?
I will allow Zinhorn to please make a history check on that one, because it is an elven term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ooh, history. That is a 13.
The term Starfallen among many elven cultures is used to refer to one who is the next rightful heir, the one who is the rightful heir to a throne that is occupied by a usurper.
Oh, okay. Wait, is what as a usurper, sorry?
The rightful heir to a throne that is occupied by a usurper. For example, they might say, we are restoring the Starfallen to power.
Okay.
Huh. Who found the eye? The elf princess was gone.
You recall, Zinhorn, that back in the Bakumora, there was no king or queen or royalty as such. The land you were from was ruled by druids, but there was an archdruid at their head, and the lines of succession for who would replace the archdruid in the case of their death was sometimes muddy. Sometimes one who would one who would wish to prove themselves as the next Archdruid would sometimes be sent on a quest of courage.
Right.
The rest of it is very confusing. Like, my friends wouldn't have lasted long without their weapons. That makes sense.
Well, that was because Rossi stripped them of the weapons, but the doppelganger
But-
is interesting.
If they had no weapons, then how is it that this man was carrying the staff? Unless he found the staff within the tomb.
I was going to say, it's either he found it in the tomb, or, hypothetically, I mean, it's entirely possible he could be a warlock that just happened to,
Yeah, perhaps a warlock of Rust and the Sea, but he's carrying a spellbook.
That is true. I'm just throwing out the objective.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with things like, I'm looking at, even if we found the eye, I'm not sure what the eye is, elf princess of some description, doppelganger in the party is an interesting one, and I'm hoping you could start on the four-armed gargoyle, because obviously I'm guessing that's going to be a problem somewhere in the near future.
Alisander, you may actually make a history check of your own.
The elf princess is dead. She's a puddle of goo underneath a dragon's claw.
There's more than one elf princess in the world.
Technically, I have her in a jar. That's a 19, as I'm trying to search.
You try to
walkways.
remember, you try to think and remember the legends of Omu. You have known that Omu has often been associated with tales of treasure. For example, the navel of the moon, that bag of nails the Tabaxi was searching for. But there is another treasure known as the Eye of Zoltek. For centuries, this fist-sized ruby surmounted the Great Pyramid in Nexol, capital city of the Maztecan Empire. The gem is a relic of the cult of Zoltek, and its dagger-like point was plunged into the hearts of countless sacrifices. When the Tabaxi migrated from Maztica to Faerun, they brought this eye with them, and eventually, over time, it became known as a symbol of power to various tribes in Cholt and the neighbouring lands. One who had hold of it would be able to prove that they are worthy of ascending the throne of whatever culture had sent them on this quest.
So clearly this crawl away that more or less the group, but it can especially see Alisander just looking going. So for some reason they came here searching for the eye in order to put this elf princess in power, but obviously just sort of spits out the name. Rust and the Sea would have thrown a spanner into that works.
It seems, based on the fact that he took their weapons, it seems that Rust and Sea literally just sent them down into the tomb to try to determine what sort of defenses it has. Perhaps it is the fate of this specific adventuring party that led Rust and Sea to believe that he would not be able to enter the tomb on his own.
Onyx grabs a piece of paper from someone and writes down, "Why is the body still here?"
Now that I can't answer. Unfortunately, speak with dead is not something I have on me. There's no other way to get an answer out of him.
Yeah, why is... Because it's been noted that the bodies get used.
Yes, so why was he...
So why...
One in particular is just left here.
His riddles may help you, but in the end, so what if this is Asarak is a trickster? So what if this
body
is
was left here on purpose?
Technically a red herring. Also, I really hope there's not a doppelganger in this dungeon that will eventually take one of our spots.
There is still
that would be very interesting to see how you.
So there are a number of possibilities. Either he actually is he is an adventurer, and he just died here, and they decided to leave him here as, something to throw the next group off guard, or he died elsewhere and was placed here specifically for the purposes of a red herring. He may not even be an adventurer at all. But Sir Lucian does recognise the name of the adventuring company and verifies that it is a real adventuring party.
That is true. I still feel my shadow though, don't I?
You still feel your shadow, but it can't be seen.
Can I make it take a step back the way it came?
You can, and as it takes a step back, it blinks back onto the top of the ring, staring down at you.
But he didn't get hurt.
No damage.
I am going to swap positions with him. So the shadow is now with the party,
and now
and I
you're
am
standing
up
on top of the ring.
And I'm going to step through, but be ready to swap back immediately.
Yep. You step forwards. The rest of you watch as Onyx steps forwards and then blink. He is gone. Onyx, you step forwards and you look around and you're standing at the top of the cube, but you cannot see the rest of your party. Also, the dead body of the adventurer, Devlin, is no longer lying in its spot. The ring, the circular room appears to be entirely empty, save for yourself.
There's nothing else up there?
No, it appears to be appears to be the same room. You could see the corridors leading off into the next room and back out into the stairwell. You just can't see the party or the dead body.
What? Oh, but I don't know how. If there is like an alternate world existing, like seconds ahead or something, and this is an exact duplicate.
I was gonna say, do you want to just like keep heading forward and see what happens, or do you want to try and step back and see if it returns here?
Well, first off, I'll step back to see if I return back to...
You take a step back, and once again, feeling no sensation, feeling as if nothing has changed, you look around and you see Devlin's body and the party standing just where you left them. The rest of you see Onyx suddenly step out of thin air.
I'll step back in, and I'll send my shadow 5 feet in front of me. And just slowly walk towards the room. And if my shadow disappears, I will stop moving.
Yep, you step you summon your shadow. You send it 5 feet ahead of you, following it down the corridor to the east. Eventually, your shadow steps out into the big open room at the other side. Would you like to follow it?
If he doesn't disappear, then I would like to step into the same space.
You step out into the same space as your shadow. As you step into the room, I would just like to point out for the others that you cannot see Onyx or his shadow emerging from the corridor into the room ahead. Onyx.
I am really sorry, but I need to go check the pizzas, and this is really bad timing. I'm so sorry.
Yep. So, you've seen Onyx disappear, and you've not heard any footsteps. You don't know where he's gone, and the corridor to the east appears to be just as empty as it was a second ago. You do not see Onyx emerge from the hallway. What would you like to do? Does anyone else want to walk up the side of the ring?
I kind of feel like if he's proven that it's safe, we should probably stick with him, because I don't want to stay down here if he's up by himself.
Yep. Does anyone want to cast Detect Magic or anything? Are you paranoid enough yet?
Depends if we can get. I can cast Detect Magic, but it's going to cost me a spell. Oh, I'm supposed to still have 2 more spell slots, so. Yeah, actually. Can I cast Detect Magic on both the staff and this ring, or just one?
Well, one cast of Detect Magic will illuminate everything. So, you cast Detect Magic, and immediately the staff in your hand and the cross-section above you at the very top of the ring begin to glow in different colours. The staff emanating with an aura of transmutation magic, and the midsection of the ring emanating with an aura of conjuration magic.
Okay. Conjuration magic would make sense. Transmutation magic worries me to absolutely no bloody end.
You can attempt to make an Arcana check to identify one of these sources. Well, on the staff you can't because you already made an Arcana check, but you can attempt to identify the other source of magic.
I suppose, 24?
24. You walk up the side of the ring to where you saw Onyx and his shadow depart, and you hold out your hand into the join, and your hand crosses over the line where you saw Onyx and his shadow step, and it doesn't disappear. And you channel the energy you could feel. It takes about 10 minutes of solid contemplation, but you determine that the exact center of the ring is enchanted with a plane shift spell.
Oh. Okay.
While he's doing that, I will have swapped places with my shadow just to confirm that the rooms look the same at a quick glance.
They do indeed.
Okay. Because I've got a theory as to why that body's left there. He's from this dungeon. And he died in the other dungeon. No, I mean, sorry. I'm still thinking of me in the other dungeon. He's from the other dungeon where he was put in, but he's got attacked in there, but then he died in the other dungeon, so the dwarves from the plane shifting dungeon haven't come over to collect him. That's a theory that I have. I don't know what to do now with this room.
But Alessander and Bob are both very curious about this particular piece of magic.
So, what would you like to do?
Still insanely wary of this stuff. Like, I might put it away for now and resolve to look at it later, because I don't... I mentioned the doppelganger and the fact that this thing's pulling off transmutational magic.
And that there appears to be a gateway to another plane here in this room.
Onyx would like to walk forward.
Yep.
Leaving his shadow in the entryway.
Yep.
Onyx would like to... No, I mean...
Oh, yeah, in the entryway to this room, yep.
Yes, please. He would like to go forward and look at the... sarcophagus, or whatever we call it.
This room smells of wine. On a checkerboard marble floor, a gilded coffin sparkles in sunlight streaming down from the chamber's vaulted ceiling, which arches 12 feet overhead. 4 huge stone gargoyle heads, their mouths agape, protrude from the walls. Your footsteps echo as you walk across the marble floor towards the sarcophagus. And here, carved into the lid of the sarcophagus, is a phrase written in Draconic. Drown your sorrows.
Okay. Copy image, paste image, upload, so it's down the bottom. Drown your sorrows. Okay. I am going to move back to the opening of this room.
Yep.
Swap with my shadow. And walk up and look at the tomb in the real world.
Very well.
I'm just going to call it real world and dream world, just so that I can differentiate.
Swap places with your shadow, finding yourself in an identical version of the same room. And here, Zinhorn, Ava, Alisander, and Sir Lucian see you materialize in the room ahead. You approach the sarcophagus and find the exact same phrase written upon it, this time in common.
Okay. For the sake of me getting the pizza, I'm going to then head back to the party, swap over into the real world, and let the others know what I've found, and I personally will be right back.
Yep. Does everyone think about that? After Onyx reveals that there appears to be two versions of the identical room ahead with the exact same features within them, save for one being written in Draconic and the other being written in Common.
Huh.
Yeah.
They both say the same thing?
They both say, drown your sorrows.
I'm trying to see if... Part of me is really interested in just casting water breathing just to be safe, because especially considering we've already read a thing about wine and drowning in wine, and this room smells of wine.
Yep, you can go ahead and cast. So would you all like to step out of the ring, head down the corridor, and go into the tomb?
Which one? The one above, the one beneath?
Yeah, which world are we in? Are we in the...
You're in what Onyx calls the real world at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
You'd have to move up to the top of the ring to cross through to the other one. But that said, the room ahead seems to be safe, as Onyx is standing in it. He's gesturing for you to come and join him.
Yeah, I guess go into the real world room and just...
Yep.
I don't know, I keep looking at the whole the ring as a path to another tomb, but that doesn't give us anything to work with.
This sweet, fruity scent of wine fills your nostrils as you step into this large open room, as your footsteps begin to echo on the polished, checkered floor.
Either way, I'm gonna sit and cast water breathing. I know it's gonna take 10 minutes, but I don't trust this.
Yeah, it doesn't appear anyone's got anything else to do.
Just consider it a safety measure.
Yep. While Alisander casts water breathing, Zinhorn, is there anything you would like to do?
Not really.
Yep, so you just wait for Alisander to cast water breathing. 10 minutes pass, and you all just sort of bask in the bright sunlight that's pouring down from the arched roof above. Given how far underground this level of the dungeon is, you conclude that this could only be magical sunlight, but it warms you as you sit in it, and it feels almost as if you're sitting on a warm rock on the surface.
Can we confirm the one at the top's the same?
If you want to go and head back, Onyx did describe it looked exactly the same.
I meant more like felt the same.
Yeah, he described. You quickly confirm with him that yes, it did feel the same. It appears the sunlight in both versions of the room is magical sunlight.
Let's see. So this could be one of two things here, because we also have the ring as a path to another tomb, then we have the dead or sunlight.
Yes. The dead
But
abhor
there's-
sunlight,
Okay,
and
is there anything else on the sarcophagus? Any symbols, or is it
no
just?
symbols whatsoever. It's just the phrase "drown your sorrows." And there are also 4 gargoyle heads attached to the walls with big gaping mouths.
Didn't we read something in the notes about there being a false tomb?
You did. It said the ring is a path to another tomb. Oh, yes, you
No,
did.
I mean,
Yeah,
not
the
in the-
records,
in the-
yes. You did read.
Yeah.
Yes, the records did have a false tomb listed as one of the traps that people have succumbed to.
Not
I
to
feel like we
mention
need
this.
to be in the dream world.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to mention the fact that this entire level is known as the
Dungeon,
Yeah.
Dungeon of Deception.
Yeah, I feel like we need to
Yeah.
be in the dream world.
Yes.
So you want to go into the opposite dimension?
I feel like
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Are you sure?
No, but
No,
yeah.
fuck you for asking.
Well, I
No.
think in either case, we will leave it there for this week because this is quite a. Because this, you don't know, you want to continue on? Okay.
No, this is what you want to call it, then by all means.
Yeah.
I was saying
No.
because now I have a whole week to sit on this spot. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, yeah, no, I think we'll call it because I think that's a good cliffhanger to end it on.
Alright. Okay.
So, I would like to thank Ronchio del Bosque for the follow, and thank you for the 6 people who were watching that whole ring deal and trying to work out what the hell was going on. I'm leaving it here because the thing that is in the thing that's in these next couple of rooms, like, we won't be able to complete it in time. So, like, it's best
Fair
to
enough, but let's keep
to
going.
stop now. So yeah, but
Okay.
you made headway into level 2, the Dungeon of Deception. You cleared out entirely the staff-only area.
That's fun by me. That's what I like.
Figured out what was in the devil's head and claimed it, the cube of turning. Discovered that the
Yeah.
ring seems to be a portal to another dimension, and
Have fun with fire elementals.
yes,
And the stuff.
and now as you sit here in the room that smells strongly of wine, we shall say to be continued next week. Thank you once again for everyone to join us. We'll be back tomorrow for some Fallout 2. And until next time, don't start getting involved in dimensional timey-wimey wibbly-wobblies, because it may just break your brain. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.